as you can see, there's a lot of immigrants here, and we want to know, like, if you have reconsidered your position on immigration reform. Our lives are on the line. We have to keep our families together, and this law, or any law anti-immigrant, and your opposition to the immigration reform is straining our families.
Would you want to, do you think we should have a system that allows only lawful immigration into the country? Should the United States have an immigration system that allows immigration, as we always have, generously, but only according to the law?
I just inviting you to honor Alabama Christian values of family unity. We've been suffering a lot, and if you want to go around and ask for a lot of Latino citizens how they've been suffering because they're afraid their families can be torn apart because there's no law that can help us. People have been living here for more than 20 years, and we just need something to fix the immigration reform, and we're asking you to understand our position.
You didn't answer my question, but I'll just tell you where I feel about it. I believe the United States should have a lawful system of immigration, and that system should serve the national interests of the United States, not special interests, not agricultural interests or business interests or interests of people all over the world. The national interest of the United States is what ought to be served by our policy. And then our policy has to be carried out effectively and the law followed. And so what happened in 1987 was, 86, an agreement was reached to give legality, amnesty, to what then was about 3 million people in the country illegally. And and they promised that we'd have enforcement in the future and the laws wouldn't be violated in the future. And now they're estimated that there may be 11 million people illegally in the country. And they want to give amnesty to those, and they want to promise that the law will be enforced in the future. Don't worry, this won't happen again. But I was a federal prosecutor for almost 15 years. I know how law is enforced, police and federal officers, and in my opinion, they're nowhere close to drawing up a system that will work. And it's going to be the same thing again. And the American people, I don't believe, want that to happen. So I'm just insisting that let me see your plan, put it on paper, let me read it, and if it works, I'll be very interested. If it's not going to work, count me out.
There should be an immigration reform.
The president's plan that they leaked out the other day won't work. I got to tell you, I hate to say
There's a problem. There's a big problem for having 12 million of mixed status families. So it's your obligation to try to fix the problem, I think. And that's a big, big problem. And it's not just closing the doors to a solution is not an option. It's not a humane option.
I know that there are a lot of people for whom this is very important and has real importance. But I think the law that they're preparing, at least the one that they produced before, for example, would say if you've entered the country illegally and we give you a legal status, then you still are able to give preference and bring into the country your brothers and sisters, your parents, and you give priority on that. And I don't think that someone who enters the country should get illegally, should get every right that somebody who enters the country legally gets. That's just what I'm not going to be for that. I told them I'm not going to be for that. But I truly understand that there's a human cost here, but we've had a lot of illegal entry into the country, even after the National Guard was called out, the still have people determined to come illegally. I don't know that I don't feel a moral or a legal obligation to legalize somebody that entered illegally and didn't wait in line like us.
So you agree to destroy our families, that's what you're saying.
You
I'm
destroyed
going-
your
that's
family
okay.
when you entered here illegally.
We're going to wrestle with what to do. But my position has been, we've got to end the illegality. We've got to get our country on a sound path legally, and then we can wrestle with the proper moral and human way to deal with people who've been here a very long time. But I don't, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Generous Senator Sessions. I want to tell you about my personal experience here, very brief. I came to this country illegally when I was 6 years old. I have lived in Alabama since I was 9. I am southern as you can get. I became a U.S. citizen. I work for the federal government now, and I voted, and I'm a taxpayer now. So there is a way to get people who have committed a mistake into our community so we can be productive members, because we want to, as I'm an example of. And Senator Sessions, I agree with you. There has to be some type of legal way to get people in line. We're not asking for a handout. We're not asking for your anything free. We just want to get into some type of line to be able to be contributing members of our communities and providers for our children. I have a 6-year-old daughter, love her to death. She goes to school here, and she will be a productive member of this community just as her mother has been. I have a question for you. As a Republican in the Republican Party, as a resident myself of Alabama and as a registered voter, why should I vote for you or for a member of the Republican Party when I feel attacked because families are being separated? When we talk about the sanctity of marriage, we talk about family, yet we sit here and say, because you're undocumented, we're going to deport you. Because you broke the law, we're not going to give you a second chance. Why should we support you, Senator Sessions, when you're against women, when you voted against the Violence Against Women Act, which protects women like myself who could be victims of domestic violence and would have fear of going to the police? He voted against that. You don't support the well-being of children because you are deporting their parents, U.S. citizen children. And you don't support due process because right now, as I'm speaking, there are many, many, many immigrants, legal permanent residents, and non, sitting in detention centers without due process, without a judge being able to look at their case and say, you know what, you made a mistake, but you have strong, deep roots in this country, and you should stay here. What could the Republican Party do different to include us? So we want to be part of the Republican Party and be contributing members.
Well, I don't agree with the way you characterize almost every bit of it. I don't think that's a fair summary of where we are. And you're a smart person, so I'm going to tell you honestly, I think that's not a fair characterization of any of those issues. We need to reestablish the rule of law. People are not entitled to come to our country and then demand that we be given citizenship, legal status. I mean, how simple is that? So I believe we should be compassionate about how to handle these issues. And people who have children, been here a long time, children of citizens and all, I think we need to do the right thing about that. But I don't believe they need to be given every benefit that somebody who came legally gets, which is basically what this legislation the president just released does. And I've supported the Violence Against Women Act in the past. They added some things on it that were not correct. I would not support unconstitutional provision on it, subjecting American citizens to jurisdiction in a tribal court over which they have no political jurisdiction. So that's not a principle. And I think they did it just so some of us principled people would vote no, and somebody like you could stand up at a meeting and say, you voted against doing something about violence against women. That's what I It's a tough issue. We need to be compassionate with one another. You need to realize that this nation and the American people have been pleading with their Congress for 20, 30 years to create a lawful system of immigration. Their government and their presidents, Republican, Democrat, have failed to do so. And that's why we've got such a problem. And at this time in history, we need to do the right thing. And I'm not talking politics. The right thing is to end the illegality, create a system that we can be proud of, that serves the interests of the United States, and to wrestle compassionately with people who've been here a long time and been good people, done well. That's my 2 cents worth. I've been saying that since the last debate about it in 2007.